Real estate psychology hacks. How do you close more deals in real estate without being pushy or salesy? Welcome to the Open Books Podcast, where we discuss all things real estate, helping you take the road less traveled to real estate success. I'm your co-host today, Brooke Massey, alongside Casey Tuter. If you like today's content, please like, comment, and subscribe. Casey, what are we talking about today?
Well, today we're going to talk about buying emotionally.
Okay, I was like, really?
No, so basically, something I've heard over the years that never sat well with me was when people say, look, this is just business. Just take the emotions out of it. And it's like, I actually care about these people I'm helping. Mm-hmm. And it's not just business. Like, oh, sorry that you have no place to live now because your seller didn't show up to closing. It's just business, And,
yeah.
And of course, when we're buying and selling properties or anything that you buy, for the most part, even food, like why do you go to McDonald's or Burger King? It's an emotional decision. It's a feeling that you're after, because otherwise you just eat, vegetables and healthy foods.
Man, I wish that was a problem.
Yeah. So I think we just have to understand in today's episode is just mainly about, let's master that emotional side. That way we can help our clients better and help them sort through those. So we're going to talk about 3 different things, and motion closes, and then we justify afterwards. And I always use the analogy there, like, well, no one needs $1 million home; they want it for certain reasons.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Then afterwards they justify why they bought that house. And then authority plus calm equals trust. This is something that I've put a lot of energy and focus into over the years with my clients, and it's how I've gotten a lot of referrals from.
Yeah.
And then fear of loss is stronger than the desire for gain.
Oh, that one's like,
yeah,
it's deep.
Yeah. So let's get into the emotion closes and logic justifies. You got anything good for me there?
I mean, people decide emotionally first. I feel like that's a very true fact. Mm-hmm. No matter how whether you say you're emotional or not, because I've met lots of people. I'm a very direct and blunt person, and I get along very well with very direct and blunt people. But even those people, I've met the most direct and most blunt of them all, I swear. But even them, they still have a little bit of emotion involved, mm-hmm. whether they want to admit it or not. It's at the end of the day, we're people. We are emotional creatures, and our emotions is how we make decisions. It's how we protect ourselves or protect mm-hmm. our family, whether we're thinking about it consciously or subconsciously. I think that's a big first part. You know where this shows up a lot? Where?
Is in negotiations.
Yeah.
And repair negotiations. So these are the ones that I always use. The guys, I say guys, the people, it seems to typically be men that are money guys.
Yeah.
Right. They know numbers. They love numbers. They're the worst. Mm. They're the most emotionally charged clients that I've dealt with. And the example I'll give is
commercial is probably that a lot.
Yeah. I think it shows up more there too. So basically, we've got a deal under contract. Let's say this is during COVID and we got $10,000-$15,000 over asking. It's supposed to be as is. And then the buyer comes in and says, I want this repair done. And they're immediately upset about it before they even know what it costs.
Yeah.
And then turns out it was a $200 plumbing repair. Mm-hmm. And long story short, the first plumber says it's $600. And keep in mind, they're making $10,000 to $15,000 over asking.
Yeah.
And why would I pay someone $600? That's not what that repair costs. It's because we close tomorrow and we need it done now.
Yes.
And they're like, well, you know what? I'm just not going to, that does not make sense to me money-wise, numbers-wise, that doesn't add up. So I'll just relist it and sell it to the next person. So that's the perfect example of, you're literally turning down all that money because you're being emotional about a repair that costs too much.
And that's like tunnel vision too, because you're not thinking about the other side of it, where if you want to talk about numbers, that's why I love talking to those direct, blunt, non-emotional people. It's like, well, think about it. Have you thought about it this way? If we go back on market, okay, well, it took us how many days to get this offer and to get to here?
Yeah.
Okay, well, how much is your mortgage? I mean, there's so many different things
I brought
that you
that
can
up
add
to
up.
him, and he said, I said about the mortgage. Well, when's your mortgage due? He goes, well, that's irrelevant. It's just going to build my equity. And I'm like, dude, you just bought this house like 3 years ago. It's
Well,
like, it's all interest.
Yeah, I was like, he's still,
So
interest is a lot.
for a numbers guy, you're not very good at numbers.
No, because, I mean, a lot of houses, I know my interest is probably about $600 for a plumbing repair.
Right. Exactly. It's just silly. I think that I've had to tell myself, like we were talking about my music studio earlier and like gear for podcasts and all that. It's like at some point, like enough's enough. And it's like, I buy those things emotionally because it's like, oh, well, I really need this guitar. So if I want to play this type of music, I have it ready to go. Well, realistically, almost any of my dozen guitars can do that.
Right.
And it's like, I just want another guitar that's a different color just because I like the color.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
So I think for realtors, it's very important. I have to remind myself of this all the time, is like when people are being silly, I have to tell myself like, oh, I'm actually being logical because I know that where your mortgage payment is going to your interest, and that if we get this done, we're done and we move on. And, so I'm thinking about it logically at that standpoint, but I forgot where I was going with that. I got to remind myself that they're having emotions.
Yes.
They're having feelings. And what I've learned to do is I've let them have those feelings.
That. Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah. And so that will also very much help you in your marriage too.
Oh, it's...
if you let the other person have their feelings.
It's hard. I'm an empath, so I take on people's feelings without even realizing it. Like I'll like have a really good day and I'll be driving home and I'll just be like anxious or upset, and I'm like, then I realize the conversations that I had throughout the day, and I was like, oh, that's why I feel that way. Yeah,
that, or it's like, or everything's going good and you're like getting in bed or something, and you sit down for dinner and you're like, oh, it's been a great day, and then you get a text and it's the realtor like, sorry, this deal isn't just going to work out.
Yes, and you had like a great conversation with them and you just resolved it. Yes.
Yeah, and so it's those kinds of things.
One thing on this, as like a tip for real estate agents, is any client you're dealing with, find out their motivation first. Because if you figure out what their motivation is, then you kind of know where their emotions are coming from, and then you can lead with data.
Yeah.
Because there's plenty of time, especially when you're talking about list price or your commission, it's very sensitive topics. They're very emotional driven topics in a real estate conversation. If you're trying to get a listing, or even on the buy side and you're trying to negotiate your buyer commission as well, it's figure out their motivation. So that way, when you do have the conversation and present them with data, you can do it with ease, or you can describe it in a different way.
Yeah. It's interesting. So data is good. I say data. Data is very good to help people coach through their emotions as well. So I just did that to a listing, and at the very end of this conversation, he goes, so let me get this straight. So you're telling me that it's up to me on how long I want to bleed out for. And I paused and I said, you know what? I probably should have just started this conversation with that. And then we laughed about it. Right. So it's like we just I was able to frame that situation. And he was saying emotional things too. Like, well, I mean, we don't have to sell right now. Like my holding costs are only $2,500 a month. And I'm like, okay, only $2,500 a month. You've only owned the house for 3 years. You've got a second mortgage in a different state. You don't live here. Mm-hmm. And a majority of that payment's going to interest. Your holding costs, that's a terrible way to look at it. But I just said, hey, yeah, man, that's cool. Right on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I let him feel it. Like he can justify it and say, well, it's only $2,500 a month. because he didn't want to, I knew what was going on. He didn't want to admit to me that he was going to have to drop the price.
Yes.
It's like, oh, we can hold. Okay. Hold away.
Yes, it's just part of it. Right. And I feel like that's like one of the hardest things that you can't really teach people. I mean, you can, there's a book out there called Influence, and it's about, and I think the whole point, I haven't finished reading it, but it's just understanding people and how to influence them by asking questions or taking care of their emotions and just kind of going about it a different way. Because it is hard, because everybody is different. Everybody has different emotions. They were raised differently. They came from different cultures. Sometimes the wife wears the pants and not the husband. And sometimes the wife doesn't even want to have anything to do with it, and you only talk to the husband. And there's a lot that you have to learn. And it's you got to learn and understand people at their core. Yeah. First, before, and then the real estate stuff and what you learn in real estate, I mean, that comes next.
Well, it's kind of like you see those videos of someone what's a week like in real estate, and it's people are running down this hill, and the next thing you know, they're all rolling down this hill. Yeah. And it's you cannot, I don't think you can really master the people thing. And you cannot master the real estate thing until you start doing it.
Yes.
And so you're literally rolling down that hill, hitting your head on rocks down the way. And it's but that's the only way to do it. So yesterday I was talking to Tony. He's a newer agent of ours, and he quit his job. His full-time job. Yeah. And I just told him, I said, Tony, I'm going to tell you right now, remember how I used to come up to the guitar store, because he worked at Edmund Music. Remember how I came up there all the time and I just chat with you, and we talked about what? Yeah. And he's like, music and real estate. I'm like, exactly. And now what? You're a licensed agent with me. Yeah. But how long ago was that? 2-3 years ago, we started talking about this stuff. And so I said, you need to do that. What I did with you need to do that every day, all the time. Because if you don't, you're not going to make it.
Yes. It's a business. It's people are building your pipeline, but I don't think people understand what that actually means. Yeah. And you're running a business, and you're going to do it for the long term. You hear people say it all the time, you won't sell a house for your first 6 months to a year, right? Which is for a lot of people, that's true. Yeah. If you don't have good training and guidance and mentorship, totally, I disagree with it, but there's a reason to it. Yeah. And then building it up, and then it is hard at first. Well, let me back up. Then they also say that your first 2 years of real estate, you should always do an open house every Sunday, right? And everything that they say in training, it's always about right at the beginning of your career. And it's because you got to find your people is what I tell agents getting into this. I'm like, you're going to run into people, and you're just not going to understand them. You're not going to be able to connect with them. And it is what it is. You can't say the right thing to the wrong person. You can't say the wrong thing to the right person. Yep. But if you keep saying that, to your point, talking to people every single day, then eventually you look back and you've been doing this for 2 years. Well, now you don't have to talk to the bad people that tell you no all the dang time. You've built a business, and so many people know who you are, know you're in real estate, and whether it be for anything, if it's Tony remembered you because of guitars and music, and that's a great way, because you talk to him emotionally. It's what motivates him is music, and you guys were able to connect and relate on that. And so bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah. That's going to be on a short.
I hope so. Bada bing, bada boom.
So one of the biggest emotions that I take advantage of, but also is, I wouldn't say, I don't talk about pet peeves, but it's kind of my pet peeve.
How dare you take advantage of people?
I got a text yesterday. I'm only taking advantage of realtors. I get a text yesterday from someone, and they say, hey, my friend is trying to sell their house, and we just feel like the realtor's not doing anything. That's what I'm talking about. I hate that, but I'll use it to my advantage.
Yes.
So I hate it because now their agent may have done a very poor job, and that's where I'm getting with this, and it's all tied to emotions. They probably did a poor job of setting this up. You can't just walk in and say, oh yeah, here's the comps, let's list it and kind of see what happens. Or, oh, you want this price? Yeah, let's just try and see what happens, and then we can lower later if we need to. All they hear is you're going to get me this or I'm going to fire you. That's basically what their head's at. So, and again, I hear this all the time from people. It's like, I just don't think my agent's doing it for me. And so I looked at this property up and they're like way overpriced. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, okay, so I basically told this person is like, hey, look, like this isn't rocket science.
Yeah.
I was like, now the photos are not great. So they did a bad job there. Mm-hmm. But with your price point and where you should be, it shouldn't make that big of a difference. Like you should probably be under contract by now. And then they're like, well, how much should I drop? What do I need to sell it at? What's the number? And I'm like, I don't know, because I don't know who your buyer is.
Yeah.
And so I was like, just start dropping the price. I'm like, if you want to actually sell it, start dropping the price, drop it $10,000 tomorrow and see what happens this next week. And then start dropping it $5 every week until you get it sold.
Yeah.
And I said, now, if you can't do that, I'm happy to step in, but I'm going to give you the same advice once I'm your listing agent.
Yeah.
But when I'm the listing agent, so what I'm saying is now whenever I get a listing appointment because someone called me and said their agent isn't doing it with them.
Yes.
I'm also 100% upfront and honest with them about the whole thing. Like, you know, it's like, well, it's probably not them.
Yeah.
I'm happy to step in and help. And there are some things I probably can do better.
Absolutely.
But at the end of the day, this is what needs to happen to get your house sold. And if you're not willing to do that, it's going to be very hard. And so the other story I was just telling you is like the guy, well, so it's up to me on how long I bleed out. That's what I want them to walk away with. So whenever 3 weeks, because we're coming up about a month on that, we've only had one showing and he hasn't dropped the price yet, like I told him we need to.
Yep.
I'm just going to go back to that.
Yes.
And then if he wants to go talk to another agent about how I'm not doing it, sorry.
Yeah, it's not worth your time at that point.
Yeah. And it's like what the hard thing is, what realtors have to understand is like even those people, it took me an hour on the phone to get them to that point because everything before that was just like, well, our house is nicer and we put this into it and we loved it. I mean, you've seen the view.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, okay, but every other house on that street has the same view because it's all backed up to the tree farm. Like, it's like, so it's just, it took me a long time to get there, but I have to get there before I leave someone's house or
yes,
it's just going to end bad.
It totally. I actually just had a conversation with a for sale by owner, this exact scenario, because she was listed for 310, but we comped it and she needs to be closer to like 270. Mm-hmm. And so that's $40,000 that I'm telling this lady right now.
That she's lost.
But she hasn't really lost. It's just she has no showing. She's not getting any activity.
The only thing she probably has right now is debt. So explain to me how you've lost money.
and she hasn't. And this is where understanding people, and I was talking to Jennifer about it when we were on the phone with her, after we got off the phone with her. And she was like, Jennifer's like, I just don't understand. She has all this equity. Mm-hmm. Like, cause she does. She's going to net like $150,000 something, probably 155, 160. And I was like, but you do have to understand, Jennifer. I was like, some people, it's not that they're being greedy. It's just some people in their life, this is the one time that they're going to net a lot of money.
Right.
And sometimes this gets, especially $150,000, that could get somebody in this probably, general price range. That could get them out of debt that they've been in for years. They could have student loan debt, all kinds of stuff. And so that's where that emotion is and that motivation is. So, I mean, even if we don't get it here in the next couple of days, we're going to get the listing because, to your point, we were so open and honest because I straight up told her, I was like, I'm not going to give you smoking mirrors and just tell you all this stuff just to get your listing. Mm-hmm. I said, I joke all the time to clients that getting a contract for your house is the easy part, but getting from contract to close, that's the real hassle. Yeah. And so anything I do in this conversation that I'm having with you right this second is setting you up for success from listing to close. Yeah. Because if we do this the right way, then we're not going to have any headaches or any hiccups. Well, I mean, there's always stuff that pops up. Yeah. But, that's what we're here to help guide you. But still, then you're going to be happy and then you're going to refer us to all your friends and family. And that's how we do business. Yeah. And so she was really appreciative about it. But
that, and it's like you want them to, once you get going, that if it's not working, they're not just laying in bed at night wondering what's going on. It's like you already told them.
And they, like, I hate when people tell me I suck. Because
right.
it's not me. It's not me. I may miss things from here and there. I'm a human, but, you know, it's not because I sucked or I didn't set it up the right way or the market is bad. That is a big one right there, is the market's bad, because we look at all the data and all of that, but I tell everyone at the end of the day, it is a market and it does change day to day.
So the market's only bad if you want a certain price that it's not allowing. So I'll tell people, like, yeah, the market's terrible if you want what you're asking.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And so basically that's what I've been telling people, but it's like, there is no, the market isn't tough. It's the sellers are being tough and the buyers are being selective.
Yeah.
So it's basically like when a guy and a girl starts dating, like when your friends start dating someone, you're like, ooh, this is going to be bad. And then it is. Because they're both tough and you knew it wasn't going to work from the beginning.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we're dealing with.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's what I've been telling people about the market. And I always play this game with them. Like if that house, of course, people always think I'm tricking them here. This is not a trick. But if the house next door to you is on sale for $100, would you buy it right now? Would you buy it? Let's say there is a buyer out there that's willing to pay $300 and it'll appraise.
Yeah.
Would you pay $10,000 for it?
Yeah.
Would you pay $100,000? Would you pay $150,000? Would you pay $200,000? And they're like, yes. And then they'll say yes all the way up to their comfort level of, well, if I could pay $250,000 for it, and then I'm not going to talk about fees, but if I could pay $250,000 for it and turn around and sell it for $300,000 and make $50,000, that's my tolerance level of I'm good with purchasing that home.
Yeah.
And then some people, it might be $200,000. They're comfortable with that. And so that right there proves to you that every property is for sale. It's just for what is someone willing to buy it for.
Yes.
So we're kind of, we went along on that one, but.
Yeah, we kind of went into the next one.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. So authority plus calm equals trust. This one's huge. Any realtor who's squirrely or not sure. Yes. They're done.
Yep.
Immediately.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what else to say about that, but your buyers and sellers, they need you to be there. They don't realize what they're paying for, right? They think you're just opening doors, putting a sign, but they're paying for all those things. Yeah. They're paying for my experience. Like when I used to be a barber, people would say, well, I just want to trim, but are you still going to charge what you charge? It's like, well, I mean, do you want a good trim or do you want me to hack it up? Yes. Because it's like, the term there was it's all about what's left on your head, not what's on the floor. And you're the one that came in for a haircut. Yes. You know, and so, but when you're talking about buyers and sellers, they're paying for our demeanor, our personality, our experience, our patience, our ability to answer the phone and solve problems quickly. Yep. You know, our vendors, they're paying for so much more than they ever realize. But learning how to be have authority and then stay calm. Yes. I mean, you're going to get all the business that you can handle right there.
Well, and I think even if you don't know everything, because I don't know everything, and I do a lot of real estate, but sometimes I'm like, that's a good freaking question. But if you just lead with the confidence in what you do know, whether you're brand new and you're going to your first for sale by owner appointment, just go in there and just be confident in who you are as a person and connect with them. And then if someone asks you something, be like, just look at them and be like, that's a really good question. Let me find out that information for you and get back to you. Yeah. You can say that with anything.
Yeah. Oh, and I'll even like laugh it off and I'm like, you expected me to know that or something, you know, like I'll joke about it. You know, it's like, I've never heard this before. Yes. You know, it's just with a personality twist and they get it. Some really good techniques that people have to learn. Again, it's doing it over and over, is never talking about your commission up front. You save that for very last because I just sold you on how we're going to get this household. And a lot of times people are like, okay, you know, like if they're serious about me helping them, they're just like, okay, this is great. This is good information. Thanks for all of this. You know, we'll get the house ready how you said. We agree with the pricing. And then they're like, so, okay, now let's just talk about what it costs to sell it. And then I'll go over title charges first. I go over all this. This is what it costs to sell a house, period, with any title company.
Most people don't know that stuff.
And they don't know that stuff. And most agents don't know that stuff either. But then I'll say, and then commissions, this is how it's going to work. We'll split 3, I charge 3 for mine, and then we're going to pay 3% to the buyer's agent. Of course, then I go into the NAR settlement thing a little bit, which kind of distracts them a little bit from the conversation, but kind of explains why it's important to pay. And then I just kind of leave it at that. And then, or if you even were to answer it straight out, like, what's your commission? I just say, and keep in mind, I've already provided value. I'll say, I charge 6%.
Yeah.
And then I stop.
Yeah.
And then if I get kind of worried, if I feel like they're getting worried, I'll say, is that okay with you guys? And then 99% of the time, they're not going to want to say no.
Right. Because,
it depends on how they ask the question. If they were smarter, they would say, what's the lowest fee you can give me? Yeah. Instead, they'll say, what's your commission?
Then you know right then and there what you're getting into.
And that's very true. And again, if you go over all that, and this is something to keep in mind to protect yourself emotionally, is if you go through this whole thing and you get them on the same page, and then the only thing they care about after that is your commission.
Yeah.
Then you have a choice to make. Mm-hmm. Am I going to play this game with them?
Yes.
Am I going to just do what they want to go ahead and get the listing for the opportunity and the experience? Or am I going to say, you know what? After everything we've talked about, 6% is all I can do. I understand if you need to go to speak with someone else. If you want to get a discount agent or someone who provides a discount, that's more,
I got plenty of agents that will help you.
There's plenty of agents out there, and just make sure that they're going to get you to the closing table, because a discount doesn't matter if you don't close.
Yes.
And those people, a lot of times, they'll go, well, I still just care about the discount, whatever. So, but then you've got a decision to make. So you don't want them to emotionally wear you down after you've listed it and you're doing it for cheap, and then they're continually trying to wear you down.
Oh yeah, because the less you charge, the more complicated the client, literally. Mm-hmm. It's just there's a rule to it, I feel like.
And I think too, like, there's some business practices you can do. Like, if someone says, well, would you consider giving me a discount? It's like, you're going to buy with me, right? And it's like, they're like, well, yeah, that's kind of what we're planning on, or we're considering it. Okay, great. Well, I'll give you a discount if you sign a BBA with me.
Yeah.
Right. So you just signed a 3% BBA with me. Yeah. I'm gonna do what we discussed on the listing side.
There's a time and place for discounts. I'm totally wholeheartedly believe in giving a discount.
So
because it's all about volume. It's just, you got to learn how to know who you're dealing with, know the clientele you're dealing with, and then also know what you're getting into, which is sometimes hard at first, but.
Yeah. So the guy I was talking to this morning, Todd, I did mine for 2.5 instead of 3. Well, unfortunately, he went and signed with the builder before he even told me he was selling. Right.
Dang.
But he wasn't 100% set on the builder, and he hadn't signed anything. But I told him, I'm like, Todd, I'm like, why? I'm like, dude, I could have helped you with that. He's like, really? And you heard him, like, super nice guy. He's like, I didn't know. I'm sorry. Because he's only built houses through the builder. That's all he's ever done.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so he's like, I didn't know. I was like, well, dude, do me a big favor. Call that builder back and say that you don't feel comfortable without moving forward unless you have your realtor, you weren't aware. And anyway, I said, if you do that, I'll list you. I'll give you a discount on the listing.
Hell yeah!
And I said, and
give
I was like,
0.5% to gain 3.
Basically, in my head, I was going to do 5. I was going to do 2% on my side to get 3% on a $600,000 build.
Heck yeah!
But I said, look, Todd, like, you're my friend. I'm like, if not, I'll still give you somewhat of a discount.
Yeah,
it just won't be as good.
Yeah,
that's what I told him. And so I didn't tell him what it was, but when I sent the paperwork over, he knew it was going to be 6%.
Well, because you said that, you didn't give it away, and so
right,
yeah,
exactly. So I
think it's always good to lead with value. If somebody comes straight up to you and they're just like, "What do you charge? What do you charge? What do you charge?" Then that's just a different type of person you're dealing with.
Yeah.
And there's ways to go around it and get them, but what I know too, if you start leading with value and someone's like, what do you charge? Usually if you give it away right away, they just shut you down.
And they'll
You haven't
take
even
everything
made a
else from you in the
relationship.
process too.
Yeah, the best you can, not avoid the conversation, but if someone asks me that right away and I'm like, well, it depends. I'm like, I don't, let's go see the property.
Yeah.
And I was like, every situation's different and I'm willing to make things work, is what I
So,
say.
you know what's funny is how humans, we're all the same and other experiences too. So like, this is no different than like Tinder dating. So, and I've actually never done it.
I was like, swipe right, swipe left.
I've been married too long for that. But basically, like if you go out with someone that you just met online or just met, and then you hook up with them that night, the first night you met them, they're never going to call you back.
No, you gave them the commission.
You gave them, you gave them that discount. So it's like, but there's something to it, and if you make them work for it and make them earn, because there's so much to it emotionally when you're dating. It's like is this person are they going to be patient with me?
Yeah.
Maybe I don't want to give them a kiss on the first night. Are they okay with it? Or are they going to start saying little side backhanded comments? And if they do, that's a red flag. But if you hook up with them immediately, you know nothing about this person.
Well, and it's over.
And then it's over. So, and not every time. There's love stories that come out of those kinds of things for the what. Say what?
I said they got a weird pinky toe and I'm out.
Yeah, that's right. That's Brooke's thing.
I don't have a pinky toe thing, I promise. That's going to be a short now.
I thought you said you didn't have a pinky toe. Well, no wonder you don't like pinky toes. You don't have one. Now everyone's going to think that Brooke doesn't have a pinky toe.
Oh, man.
But that goes back to the commission talk. What I think all the agents should be saying is if that's the first question they ask, the first thing you should say, especially if you have no skills, is, well, let's talk about getting your home sold and make sure that we're a good fit for each other before we talk about commission splits.
Oh, I like that. Because then you're giving it to them, but you're also like, kind of secretly, subconsciously, like, maybe I don't want to work with you either. Yeah.
So that's a huge psychological hack, is making someone think that they can't have something.
Yes.
And that's why 2 kids, there's a toy on the ground and that toy's been sitting in the middle of the living room floor for a month. No one's even looked at it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden a kid picks it up and then the other kid's like, I want that.
Yes.
It's because they can't have it.
Yeah.
And when it was on the floor, they could have, so they don't want it.
Yeah.
It's exactly what we deal with every day. It's funny, Claire hates this and she still is trying to wrap her, I'm still trying to get her to go, okay, it's the same, but she won't. I deal with the same thing she deals with every day. She deals with children.
We deal with adult daycares.
Yeah. We deal with children too, being emotional.
Yeah.
And it's really because, and I learned this in the barbering world too, kids are no different than adults. In fact, a lot of times nothing changes.
No. Yeah.
Sometimes there's a 40-year-old woman still throwing a fit like she's 3.
Oh gosh. Listen, I just had my horrible deal that I had with a 43-year-old woman and I had to deal with her mommy.
Oh my gosh.
On the real estate transaction. So,
man,
part of it.
So, yeah. So basically with all that talk, it's like, just have authority, which comes from your experience and what you know, and remaining calm. Like I'll be so anxious sometimes and I'll just take a deep breath and just talk to them, and work it out. Okay. So help me with this one, Brooke. Fear of loss is stronger than desire for gain.
Well, I think you just gave the perfect example of it with your story
with the kid and the toy on the floor.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Exactly.
So, because now they can't have it. So, I mean, do you have any other examples of how you do that, in practice?
So, yeah. So something I do whenever I'm showing houses is I give my home buying disclaimer to every buyer that I work with.
Oh, what is that?
Okay, so you'll like this, and you probably used it maybe.
I'll think about it.
So we talk about houses. We're looking at houses, and someone's like, "Ooh, I like this one. What do you think we should do? What do you think we should offer?" Okay, I'm going to tell you a story, Mr. Buyer. And one time a client asked me that, and I said, "Well, there's more listings than there are buyers right now, and if I look at the data, most sellers are paying a majority of the buyer's closing costs and coming down around an average of $5,000. So if we could hit that target, great. So we put the offer in. The next day, the property goes pending. Mm-hmm. And I asked the agent, well, what was going on? It's like, well, we just got another offer, and since yours was so low, we just decided to not even give you multiple offer chance and just take the cash offer that was full price.
It happens so often.
So then the client says, but you told me
I know
we could get X.
Yeah.
Okay. So I tell that story.
Okay.
And I say, so this is my disclaimer. If you want that house, you give the seller what they want. Mm-hmm. Period. Now, with that being said, we can talk strategy if you want to get some closing costs covered.
Yeah.
But I want you to understand that we don't know if someone, and they'll go, oh, and they'll do the same thing they always do. Well, but it's been on the market for 130 days. So let me tell you another story. So one time I saw a property that was on the market for 129 days. I showed my clients, they loved it. And they said, let's talk about strategy, what we should offer. So we did it again. I gave them my disclaimer. They said, well, there's no one else offering. I mean, this has been listed forever. Mm-hmm. So surely we can get whatever we need to. Okay, great. Before we even got the offer, guess what? Went pending.
Yep.
And they were disappointed.
Yep.
So yes, I understand this has been on the market for 100, 200 days, but so are a lot of properties. And then guess what happens? Someone wants it. And sometimes it's been 300 days on the market and two people want it at the same time. And then you're in a multiple offer when it's been on the market for a year.
I just had that happen it's a modular home out in the boonies. And literally our number one complaint, because there was a crappy road to get to it.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that.
And so thank goodness I drive a Jeep Wrangler to get to this property, and been on the market 200 days, all of a sudden got multiple offers, drove it up and got it good.
If there are 10 houses for sale in an area, let's say, and there's 2 buyers in the area, there's a chance that if that one house they both want, there's a chance that it's nicer and priced better than the others.
Yeah.
Guess what? Now you're in a multiple offer situation.
Yep.
So that's my disclaimer to people is like, it's like someone else might want this, and nothing's guaranteed. So if you want it, give them what they want. And that's not me telling you that you should just do that. That's me telling you that this can go pending. So the question is, if you woke up tomorrow and this property's pending, are you going to be sad?
Yes. Yeah.
And they'll say, half the time they'll say, no, it's okay. I know there's other houses out there. Okay, great. Let's talk about strategy to see how much we can get you.
Yes.
And I'll fight for you.
Absolutely.
If they say, yes, I would be really sad, but I also want to get as much off as I can. Okay, great. Just remember, you might wake up sad tomorrow.
Yes.
And so I just paint that picture very, very clear. And that's where my authority and my calmness comes in to kind of wrap that around. But that's probably, to wrap up that point for me, is probably the best example I could give.
Yeah. No, I mean, it is true. And it's like, even in that multiple offer situation I had on my listing, I had both offers. Well, I'm working both of them, trying to get them to come up, right? And the first offer that came to me, and I was like, hey, let you know, someone showed the property literally late last night and then literally sent us an offer last night. So I didn't even have time to tell them that it was multiple offers. It's just they woke up, their offer was expiring in a couple hours, and unfortunately, this is where we're at. Yep. And the agent got a little snippy with me and said that, which is, I mean, I get it, feelings valid, but still, you should have done a little bit better, to your point, and educated them that way, because then they got upset and they're like, no, we're just going to stick to where we're at, and I know they really wanted the property as well. And so, but because emotions got involved and nothing was set up properly, I mean, the agent lost it, the clients basically lost it, because it sounded like they really did want it, like I said. So,
yeah, I've lost 2 multiple offers recently.
Yeah.
And I ain't gonna do it again.
Yeah. It's like all the perception is really what we deal with as real estate agents that the public puts out there. Interest rates and the market's bad. Oh, it's a buyer's market and all of that. And it's like, regardless of that, guys, it's still a market. People still buy homes. People still have to sell their homes.
Yeah.
And there's strategies and there's ways to do it. There's always multiple offers in any market. There's the house that I'm in right now that I bought in 2015 was multiple offers. And so majority of the homes that it was, and I had to compete.
Yeah. And if you purchase a property, I mean, really, like, besides 2018, 2019, when you could buy a property and then in a year or two profit 50 grand, like, this is something that drives me nuts, is whenever someone calls me to list a home after they've only been there a year or two, and then they don't understand why they can't get it sold, or why someone doesn't want to buy their beautiful home that they don't want anymore.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, it's not the market's fault that you made a terrible decision.
Yeah, you bought it too quick.
Well, you moved too quick.
Yes, sorry, thank you.
Like, don't, especially in new construction, do not buy a property if there's a chance that you're going to sell in 5 years. Like, you're going to need to live there 5 years.
Your best chance, and even this, it's hard because I don't know. It was like 6 months ago. I had like this random trend where I had all these sellers did exactly what you're saying. Bought 6 months ago, new build, and then now they're trying to sell it, and now we're in a phase, and I'm trying to sell a house that's the same price as new builds, and it's like it's really hard. It's not impossible, but it's hard.
What's going to happen when they go to? What's going to happen if you buy a brand new car? So I just bought my brand new truck, and this is what's happening, I think, to people. So they're buying these houses, and then all of a sudden their mortgages. Of course, some people across the country is going to be like, your mortgage is only $4,000. But they get into this situation where that stretches them, and now they're just like, I don't want to pay 7% interest and $4,000 a month anymore.
Yeah.
I want to go get something smaller. And it's like, well,
if you go smaller.
So what happens if you just bought that car and then 6 months later you feel like the payment's too high? What do?
Yeah.
You bring money to the car lot.
Yeah.
So they'll take it from you.
Yeah.
You pay. And it's funny that person that reached out to me yesterday about the listing not going well, I said, I mean, I was like, think about it this way. It's super simple. If there are no cars on a car lot, or say they've got a very short supply and tons of buyers, what do? They jack up the price. Mm-hmm. They see which buyers want it.
Yeah.
Because guess what? Someone's going to do it. Then guess what happens when they have way too much supply at the end of the year? They start offering incentives to get people to get rid of these things. Mm-hmm. Of course, it's still expensive, but you know what I mean.
It's just playing with numbers. That's all it is. And it's a perception thing. And all the business is doing is playing with emotions. That's it. When I was in the grocery store and we ran ads in different sales and stuff like that, it was just emotional.
There is
one of the biggest ones that we did was a buy 2, get 3 free sale. Uh-huh. So, I mean, that's pretty cool if you buy 2 things and you get 3 more of them for free. And it's stuff like pop or like meat, and it's like significant items, right? But if you really just think about it and like do the math, it's really like you're paying for all 5 items, but it's an emotional thing.
Or the big bundles of stuff, like the big packages of Gatorade. If you add it up, it's actually more expensive than the smaller pack.
I made so much money on those sales. It was like insane because people are like, oh my God, buy 2, get 3 free. And like, it worked. People would go up and they would have carts full and it's all the ad items. And I'm just like sitting there and like, just kind of chuckling.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like making all this money right now. I just made you buy 5 things instead of 1,
Yeah. Yeah. Claire's she's a sucker for sales. But it's on sale.
Yeah,
it's always on sale.
Yeah, no,
It'll be on sale next month.
Oh yeah,
it's funny. Like the reps at some of the builders, like they'll do it. They're like, well, that incentive's going away at the end of the month. We need to have contract by the end of the month. It's like, or I'll just wait till the 1st and take the next incentive you offer. Like, and of course I tell my clients a disclaimer there too. Is like, well, they may not.
Yeah.
But trends say they are.
Yes.
But yeah, man, people, like, we're just emotional creatures. And I think the biggest thing here is like, allow yourself to feel and try to stay calm, learn everything you can, use your experience to your advantage. And what Ricky Cruz says is stop selling people and help them.
Yeah, just help them.
And that's it. Like I have heard so many times that like you're nothing like what we expected, or you are nothing like we've experienced before with agents. It's like, look, I'm just here to educate you. Like if I educate you on buying or selling and then you decide because of what I said it's not a good time for you, then great. I'm okay with that. Because you're going to call me later or you're going to refer me later, and then I just helped you make a good decision or not get into a situation where you're going to call me next year and be like, can you help me sell?
Yes.
And then I can't.
I always say it's how you make people feel, not what you sell them on. Yes, right. You need to sell yourself, but my biggest pet peeve, I think, is that we are in a sales industry because we sell houses, but really that's not what we are.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you just take care of people, understand their situations, and it's like a consult, really. And then you're making a strategic plan and then negotiating things like a lawyer does, or whatever. A doctor's looking at stuff and they're running these tests and they give you this medicine. Oh, that didn't work. Okay, well, we need to troubleshoot and do it this way. That's what we do too. And it's like, we're not really selling stuff.
Yeah.
If we're putting the right thing in the right place. Like even a lawyer is kind of there to sell in a way. They're trying to win, but sometimes they don't win.
Well, I think the hardest thing for me in real estate, it's not the hardest. It's the thing that you got to drive home the most is like, there are no guarantees. Like, and I'm working with a new builder right now, and we're trying to purchase a property to flip to get some stuff on the portfolio. And he's like, I just want to make sure before we go in on this that we're going to be able to sell this. I'm like, well, I mean, I need way more information than that. Like when? Like, you talking about a year from now, 3 years from now, 3 months, right after the flip? Like,
what happens if you don't?
Yeah. And it's like, and he's like, well, I just want to make sure I don't lose the money I have. I'm like, dude, totally. Like, cause I want to keep his building too. But I was like, I am not going to guarantee you. Like,
no,
I gave him the numbers, and I said, now this is going to depend on how you guys do on this flip. And then when we get done, where are the interest rates at? And I was like, in my opinion, I think it's a great buy and we should probably get on it sooner than later.
Yeah.
But there again, like, there's no guarantee you're going to profit anything later.
Exactly.
So I always use that, like, hey guys, there's no guarantees in this. We're in a market, and I explain how markets work. And it's like, I was like, a lot of the times these buyers and sellers forget that they've entered into a market.
Yes. It's just like the stock market is what I like to remind people. It's like, my job is to present you with all the historical data of what's actually happening this month to this month, from this season to this season, from holidays to whatever, and predict it, because that's the best way that we can do. But at the end of the day, we're going on market. It changes every single day. That's when we have to be ready to adjust. And that's why I have data over here of how many showings we need to get. That's why I look at days on market. All of this goes into us making an educated decision if we have to pivot in any way once we go on market.
Right.
So, but
well,
I think that was good.
I do too. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and click that bell for future notifications. Oh, you guys know what to do.
What a knee slapper.
What a knee slapper. Oh, man, Theo, the first time he ever heard that when he was like 3 or 4 years old, he died laughing and did that for like a month straight.
I feel like I did that too as like a young kid. I'm like, that's funny. And I'd slap my knee all the time as he's slapping his knee.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he does. It's hilarious.
And he'd be like, ha, 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 Mom, that's a knee slapper.
Yeah, that's a real knee slapper.
Oh, my gosh. That's too cute.
It is. They're cute. Okay, guys. Well, as we come to an end, I just want to thank you guys for listening. And I already told you what to do with the buttons below. So you've already done it. So I appreciate it. And let us know if you guys want to talk about anything else that we haven't discussed on this channel. And we'll see you guys next time. Signing off, Tuter, and this is Brooke, Massey.